It's 10 to 6, it's Sunday night, it's hockey night in the hangar as the TSI World Berkshire Bees welcome the Bristol Pitbulls to town for their first visit to Slough of the year. These two teams met last night in the Dog Pound, the Bees coming away 4-2 winners thanks to goals from Vanya Antonov, Will Stead, Marcel Balaz and Adam Rossbottom. I remembered it just about off the top of my head. I'm joined tonight by a man who had to take a week-long holiday to Berlin to justify the Swindon Wildcats' terrible Oktoberfest jerseys. Guten Abend, Herr Graham, wie ist es Ihnen?
I'm good, thank you. Sprechen Sie English? No.
Pequeño.
Yes, yeah. Yes, back from Germany, but went back to Swindon yesterday. Watched that game. Now I'm here in Slough. I've seen all of the different hockeys this week. It's
all
great.
of the varying tiers of hockey,
Yeah.
and you finish it here in the hangar.
Yes.
The Bees and the Pitbulls, as I say, obviously met last night. The Bees coming out victorious 4-2. There is one change to the Bees lineup. We'll get into that shortly. Firstly, the table going into tonight's games with two games that are at least that are currently ongoing. Three, isn't it? 3 games currently ongoing as Nick brings the table up for us. Currently, the Leeds Knights are top of the league, joint top with the Milton Keynes Lightning. That match is ongoing right now. And the last we looked just before we came on air, the Knights were 1-0 up and believe still are. So that's going to make a load of Lightning fans very, very happy. The Hull Seahawks currently sit in third, with the Romford Raiders, the surprise package of the year, currently in fourth. Having watched them last Sunday, terrifyingly good. The Swindon Wildcats currently sit fifth after their 10-4 demolition of the Telford Tigers last night. But obviously our teams are more worried on the bottom end of the table. The Pitbulls currently sit bottom with 1 win on the year. That coming in Sheffield, where everyone appears to be doing well this year. Apart from the Bees, obviously. And the Bees currently sit in 8th following last night's win in Bristol, sitting on 9 points from 11 games. Tom, obviously, we're now into that quarter-way mark through the year. Obviously, everyone apart from Swindon around the 11 games mark, 12 by the end of tonight. The table really starting to break away into a top 7 and a bottom 4.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a gap just starting to open up. Obviously, I think 3 points there between the Phantoms and the Bees in kind of the 7th and 8th spot. Which I guess maybe people might have predicted before the start of the season. I don't necessarily think people would have predicted this particular order. No. And obviously, we're still... It's early in the season. You've still got 40-odd games to go, so it's not make or break for anyone at this stage. But yeah, you obviously want to be keeping the gap as close as you can to the teams above you at this stage, because you don't want to be making too much ground for yourselves to have to catch up in that post-Christmas period where the games kind of suddenly become really important. And well, they don't become any more important because obviously it's still the same amount of points per game, but yeah, you don't want to have too much work to do to catch up later in the year.
Tonight's game, of course, is for league and cup points. We do not have a cup table, as when Nick was trying to work it out earlier, he was just crying in the corner because one game each is throwing him off.
Yeah,
it's confusing.
Headache-inducing.
Basically, Leeds are top, Sheffield are second, there's 3 teams on 8 and then everybody else. We'll work it out when we get there sometime in November. Your team's going into tonight's game between the Bees and the Pitbulls. Firstly, your home side, the Berkshire Bees. They are 2, Adam Rossbottom, 5, Ollie Nags, 6. Welcome back, Harvey Stead. You will not miss him on the ice tonight. He's the one running round in the all-red. 9, Vanya Antonov, 13, Marcus Mitchell, 15, Ty Cathcart, 16, Adam Erskine, 18, Preston Toombs, 19, Will Stead, 23, Dominic Gabai, 24, Dan Rose, 61, Will Birch, 71, Josh Kelly, 74, Liam Morris, 75, Roman Cathcart, 93, Josh Paul, 94, Stuart Mogg. Netminders, 36, Harry Thomas, 42, Max Wright, and Tom, obviously the big name missing tonight from last night, Marcel Balaz does not ice.
Yeah, obviously that's a big loss for the Bees. Balaz is arguably, or maybe not even arguably, he's the Bees' best player. Was the Bees' top scorer last year, so it's a big loss, but also an opportunity for some of the younger players to have to step up into that role, and someone else is going to have to provide the offense tonight. Obviously, you've got Dominic Gabai and Vanya Antonov amongst others, but someone else is going to have to step into that top 6 role and perform.
As Tom says, a big opportunity for someone in black and yellow to step up and be a hero tonight. Speaking of heroes, here's the men trying to go for the Bristol Pitbulls this evening. They line up 6, Rhys Smetham, 7, Cameron Hamill, 9, Barry McKenzie, 11, Sean Morris, 13, Dylan Webb, 19, Elliot Lewis, 23, Jacob White-Say, 24, Tanner Butler, 39, Ben Davies, 51, Rhys Cochran, 52, Nick Price, 59, Ewan Hill, 73, Sam Smith, 77, Bailey Harewood, 90, Bobby Reagan, 91, Mason Lipsey, Netminders, 33, Tommy Napier, and 42, Tyler Delabatouche. And Tom, it's hard to talk about the Pitbulls without talking about Bailey Harewood.
Yeah, I mean, we know what quality Bailey Harewood has. He's been a really good player in this league for the last few years, but he has definitely taken that step up in the last year or so with his he's obviously on that two-way deal with the Cardiff Devils. He trains there, he plays the odd game here and there with them, and I think that's really helped him come along. I can't see the numbers from here. My eyesight's not good enough and it's dark in the ring, but you'll have a better idea of what his points are. But he's been the guy who's leading that offence for Bristol this year.
18 points in 11 games. Got his 100th Pitbulls point last weekend.
Yeah, I think in about 80 odd games as well. So
yes,
he's,
it's one of those things. Obviously,
puts those numbers up.
With the jump for the Pitbulls from South 1, South 2 to the National League, it does obviously make him the 8th all-time point scorer for the Pitbulls, just because of the way the lower leagues work.
Yeah.
As Pitbulls are on the ice, thankfully in jerseys that are easy to read. Thank you. As Max Wright leads out the Berkshire Bees. And we'll be back with you in about 2 minutes' time following the national anthem, and we'll bring you then the officials and your starting net lines for the evening. See you in a second.
Ladies and good evening and welcome to everyone active Slough Ice Arena. As always, first, we can please ask the captain from the Bristol Pitbulls and Adam Rossbottom from the Bees to please step forward for tonight's ceremonial puck drop, today being dropped by Fletcher May. Ladies and please be upstanding.
Avoid their Sunday crises that they've had the last 2 weeks, with good wins on the Saturday followed by 7-2 defeats on the Sunday. Your referees for this evening are, in the Water Wings of Power, it says Mr. Will Hewitt, but it's Andrew Jarvie, Mr. Hugh Poulton, lines of Mr. Kenny George and Mr. Justin Lalonde. Starting netminders this evening, firstly for the TSI World Berkshire Bees, Max Wright gets his 11th start of the year. He is 4-5-1 on the year, a 9.11 save percentage and a 3.59 goals against average, making 38 saves in last night's win in the Dog Pound. At the other end for the Bristol Pitbulls, Tommy Napier makes his 7th start of the season. He is 0-4-2 on the season, an 8.68 save percentage, a 5.65 goals against average, with 22 saves last night against the Bees. Tom, an interesting battle between two import netminders.
Yes, yeah, obviously two import netminders with kind of very different backgrounds in hockey. Obviously Max Wright has gone the, I guess, traditional for National League imports youth sports route through junior hockey and then into the Canadian university system. Obviously, Tommy Napier, slightly different CV to most players at this level, in terms of obviously played NCAA hockey at the Ohio State University. For those of you who follow college sports,
Go Buckeyes!
And then obviously has had a, like I say, a bit of a pro journey, obviously being in the Pittsburgh Penguin system, playing AHL with Wilkes-Barre Scranton, bit of time in, I think, the Slovakian League last year, possibly. So yeah, obviously a really high caliber import. Obviously had a couple of injuries to start the year for the Pitbulls, but back in the lineup now.
The Pitbulls win the opening puck draw. Obviously, top lines tonight that are loaded with talent themselves, as Don Goodbye makes the pass across to Josh Paul, who at 16 has looked terrific in his guest appearances for the Bees. That's a pass that bounces nicely to Smethan. Shot off the side of the goal. Harewood. That pass bounces off Nags, and the Bees will clear the zone. Butler at the back for the Pitbulls. Interesting that Pitbulls currently do have all three imports on the ice. As Ollie Nags misplays the puck there. Mogg able to beat Harewood in a foot race 2 at the block any shot. Puck back to the blue line on White Say. Shot through traffic, saved by Nags. I was going to say saved by Nags. He took it away from right, almost wrong footed him. Cam Hamill on the back door, missing the chance. Pitbulls over the blue line again. Shot into Wright's glove. He'll hold on, first break in play.
Yeah, positive start for the Pitbulls, getting the puck up the ice quickly there with a kind of really good stretch pass, I think, from Butler and a couple of big early chances. Here's the shot from the point, which is just tipped through, and as you say, kind of nags his stick on the rebound, deflects that away. That would have been a I feel like it would have probably gone in from Hamill, that one.
I'm going to do it once, and I'm going to do it now to get it out of the way. It's time, everybody at home, to play our game of Where's Harvey?
Yes, he's not very noticeable out there.
No. Bees the other way. Ross bottom over the blue line into the zone. Gets dispossessed by a good stickler from McKenzie on the back check. Kept in at the blue line by Stead. Or Stead the Harvey.
You've actually got to do that.
I've got to remember it's both of them tonight. I was enjoying my first 6 weeks of the season. Pitbulls clear it up ice. Icing called as Harvestead beats Cam Hamill to the puck.
Yeah, it's fairly obvious which Bees player Harvestead is, it has to be said. Obviously now played most of his hockey down in Streatham.
Yep, guessing tonight.
Guesting this weekend for the Bees with on a
limited two-way.
Limited two-way, obviously, because of the age limits on two-way registration and stuff. You can only play so many games in a year for the Bees. So in the lineup this weekend, and
just for tonight, I should say. Obviously, the Red Hawks winning 7-1 against the Romford Buccaneers last night. Yeah. Hi, Chris. Pitbulls clear, or try and clear the zone for Hamill. Kept in by Stead. Big hit on the boards. Delivered by Ewan Hill. Round the boards it goes. Harvestead shot from the corner. Saved by Napier. Big hit again from White Say. And causes the turnover. Pitbulls clear the zone. Mitchell able to get first to loose puck. Sets Cabana's way. Both Pitbulls on the defensive end fall down. Gives Gabay an opportunity. And that's a big save from Napier. Yeah,
the ice just opened up there for Dom Gabay, and he's a player who's going to take that opportunity to just drive into towards the net, and yeah, it's a good save by Napier. We'll see it again on the replay. Just as you say, D loses his feet and
then loses it again at the end.
But yeah, it's a good save by Napier. Probably I think the first time he had to touch the puck so far in the opening couple of minutes of the game.
Great slide tackle from Reece Cochran as well. Shot from the blue line, blocked into the corner. Kept in by Kelly. Held against the boards. Pitbulls finally bring it clear. Knocked loose to Morris. Kelly. Tipped on ahead by Will Birch. Morris is first to the puck. Takes a heavy tumble off the hit from, I'm going to say Davis because it's on defence. Davis is still down, and he's come off worse from that hit. Bees call for a stoppage, and we finally get one.
Yeah, I think you've got to kind of...
Player in a dangerous position, particularly where the puck is at the moment.
Yeah, you've got guys skating around, you've got the puck there. I think it's just a sensible play there from Andrew Jarvie just to whistle that one down and allow Davies to get back onto his feet.
Not the worst mistimed hit I've seen this weekend. There was one in Sonam last night where Ollie Cackett just smashed straight headfirst into the flex, so he completely missed the hit. Player didn't even move. Davis is up on his feet and skating back to the bench. Face-off will stay inside the zone, which obviously is the right call given where the puck was at the time of the stoppage.
Yep. I think the fact that the Bees also had the puck too, so it makes sense.
We will keep an eye out. Obviously Davis is still on the bench at the moment. If anything changes there, we will let you know. Face-off to the right of Napier. Won by the Bees. Quickly held up. Butler able to fire it around the boards. Lipsy. Chip it up left-hand wall. Right hand of his net to play it. Gives it back up to Lipsy, whose pass into the low slot misses everybody and goes out the other end. Smith back there for the Pitbulls. Finds Butler, takes a hit from Morris, chipped on ahead, foot race to the puck. Price gets there ahead of Nags, but Nags Enough to put him off. Bees over the blue line. Antonov tries to get away from Price. Backhands one on net, saved by Napier. Puck loose, Pitbulls clear. Lovely move by Harewood to get around now. He skates in at Stuart Mogg, tries to draw him off to the side. Shot fired wide. Not kept in at the blue line that time by Cochrane. Puck through centre ice. Smith can't control that. Rose chips it on the head, evades a hit from Cochrane as well in the process. Rossbottom jumps in front of the Harewood pass. Gets the puck back, tries to shovel in the short side. Rebound loose in front. Scramble. Pitbull's able to clear as no one in the yellow shirt seemed to be able to pick up where the puck was. Foot race into the corner. Nags and Harewood. Pitbull's come away with it. Smetham. And will hopefully settle on what I'm going to call him at some point. That's about 3 different pronunciations I've gone for so far. I do apologise. Pitbull settle it down once more. Chipped ahead as both teams go for changes. Armstead told to just hold on to it for a second by Don Goodbye. Fires it up to Rossbottom, who uses Antonov as a screen to get into the zone. Held up by Cam Hamill, who was making friends for some reason. Chipped ahead, batted down by Marcus Mitchell. And that's deemed a hand pass. It's... I mean, it is
yes,
cool. It is a hand pass. It's one of those unfortunate ones where Rossbottom's crossing the zone at the same
exactly.
time.
There's not a lot you can do about it, but the puck is from the glove into Rossbottom. So it's the right call. There's not a lot that, unfortunately, as you say, there's not a lot that Rossbottom can do to get out of the way of that one. But there we go. I had one in Swindon last night where I think a Telford player managed to intercept the puck being put down by his own player, which was also a hand pass. So it does happen.
Bees clear the zone. Paul carries it on ahead. Little chip and chase. Smith beats him to it. Paul does a good job of pinning into the boards. For at least a moment there anyway. So tick over 5 minutes gone in the first. Fired at the right hand side. Offside as Barry McKenzie just jumps the puck going into the zone. Just trying to do the maths on it this year. It's Barry McKenzie with his 21st season in British hockey.
Been a great servant to the game, particularly obviously up in the game in Scotland, but now down
in
player
Bristol.
coach of the Bristol Pitbulls.
Yes.
His first coaching role, having joined just as in a playing capacity last year.
He's with the draw. Kelly over to Cathcart. Should say Ty Cathcart as that puck goes round the boards to Roman Cathcart. Another big hit delivered. I think that's going to be a running theme for the game.
Yeah, it feels that way already. Both teams put themselves around physically here.
Reagan and Morris making friends. Kelly, wow! From Bobby Reagan, that is a penalty, and it's somewhat ridiculous. Kelly is down. There's another one.
Yeah, I think...
Not only the Reagan, we've got Lipsy, and I can't see who 15. It is. It's Ty Cathcart, but Josh Kelly is the big worry here. He is down and hurt from a frankly appalling hit from Bobby Reagan.
Yeah, that was a poor hit from Reagan, an unnecessary hit as well. It's off the play. Cathcart and Lipsy end up being the ones who do the fighting.
Here it is. Kelly is up and skating to the bench.
It's just a hit into the goal post. Obviously a dangerous area of the ice as well. And I think there will be some discussions between the two officials here.
And Kelly is bleeding.
Yeah, there's going to be a discussion between the officials here about what these calls are going to be, because there's obviously a couple of incidents there that they're going to have to.
The Reagan penalty was called.
Yes.
And then obviously we have the fight coming up as well. So 5:32 time of the penalties.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But there's obviously, you would assume there's going to be at least
there's
fighting penalties for the two in the middle.
Two for whatever they want to call Reagan on here.
Yeah, you would assume that would be what I would assume, but we'll see.
Yeah, as we've learned over the last few weeks, you can never assume anything when it comes to penalties. It's referee's discretion as always.
Yeah, well, the call has been made.
We're going to wait and see what comes up on the clock.
Yeah, well, we were saying it has been a physical opening to this game for sure, and I think inevitably that's going to lead to something where a hit is going to go wrong, and you are going to get penalties on the play. So.
I don't know if it's a case of Ty Cathcart taking the wrong number there for the jersey, but...
Yeah, potentially.
Bobby Reagan has got a 2-minute penalty on the clock, so the Bees are going on the power play for the first time tonight. The Bees on the power play this year, including last night, are 8 for 49, a 16.33% success rate. That obviously will take a hit as Marcel Balaz has scored half of those goals. The Pitbulls penalty killing team last night has given up 21 goals on the year, a 62.5 success rate. As I say that, Pitbulls clear. They were 3 for 3 last night against the Bees. Instead, to Antonov. Played into the corner. Lipsy and Cathcart get 5 each for fighting. Back to the blue line. Goodbye. Walks in, fires that one through the zone. Reagan gets 2 for interference.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. The player didn't have the puck, so that's, I think, where that was always going to be called.
Held in the corner, right call's made. In the end, Morris takes another hit. Wilstead down low, left to Goodbye. Looking for an option, finds Morris just north of the face-off dot. Shot through traffic, blocked in front, bounces back to Goodbye. His shot off the shoulder of Napier and wide. Fired round the boards, kept in by Antonov. 50 seconds left on the man advantage for the Bees. Down low to Wilstead, Stead shot wide. Morris dispossessed by Price. He gets the stick slashed out of his hands, and that is another silly penalty in the start of this first period. Liam Morris is going to head to the box. 2 minutes for slashing, 6:57 time the penalty.
Again, a bit of an unnecessary penalty to take there. With the the puck coming out of the zone, you're still on the power play. That is the hit down.
That's
at the end of that play. That was just the beginning of the fight, yeah. Yep. But yeah, a bit of a silly penalty to take. You're on the power play. You're getting a little bit of momentum into this game. Again, when the Bristol Pitbulls have started really quite well, and yeah, now you're going to have 36 seconds of 4-on-4, and then have to kill a penalty of your own. Yep.
So, as Tom says, 36 seconds of 4-on-4. Bees win the draw. Mogg moves it over to Nags. Fired across to Dan Rose. Drops it off of Mogg as the Bees already with one of their penalty kill units out. Pushed ahead. Mogg chases his own rebound. Mackenzie plays that with a high stick, but no Pitbull is nearby. Nags collects the puck and finds Rose. 10 seconds left of 4-on-4 as Rose skates over centre ice, fires into the zone. Held in the corner. Pitbulls return to full strength and on the man advantage for the next minute and 24, well 20 now. See what they can do with it. Price from his own end. Not the best pass you're going to see all night. That one's
rolled off
the stick through the zone.
Yeah, just didn't quite make the contact needed on that pass.
Harvey Stead, welcome back. Can you play penalty kill for the evening? Sure, boss. Shot fired on goal, wide of right to right-hand post. Goodbye collects a rebound and launches it. Brought down by Price. Mackenzie, 4 forwards and Tanner Butler out for the Pitbulls, I should say. I didn't see him on the right wing for a second. So into the final 40 seconds of the man advantage. Harewood carries it into the zone. Uses Nags as a screen, fired on net and saved by Wright. He'll hold on. These will not go for a change. Pitbulls will.
Yeah, that was solid work on that kind of first minute of penalty killing for the Bees. They've kind of been able to largely keep the Pitbulls out from in front of the net.
And good work from the Pitbulls as well.
Good work from the Pitbulls, yeah, just to keep cycling that puck and kind of get into the zone. They're using Harewood's kind of speed well, I think, to get those entries at the moment.
Pitbulls win the draw. Hamill pinned to the boards by Will Stead. Harvey comes over to help. Fired round the boards away from Morris. Kept in at the blue line. Down to Smitham. Back to White safe, fire through traffic, block in front by Harvey Stead, and Will Stead clears it away. Job mostly done by the Bees. They've just got to be worried or careful about not giving up a goal as the man comes out the box, as the Pitbulls enter the zone. And well, as I say that, it's offside as Smitham jumps the gun on the White say rush. And 1 second left on the Morris Minor.
Oh dear.
Every time. You get to laugh at Nick, so I've done something right. Neutral zone face-off. Bees back to full strength. Mog fired up the right-hand wall to Antonov. Looks for an option, goes for the shot on goal. Pushed off the shoulder of Napier. Wraparound attempt by Antonov is turned away as well. 3-on-3. Pitbulls carried into the zone by Lewis, and that's fired into the glove of Max Wright.
Yeah, this game's been played at a pretty decent tempo so far. Certainly we've seen the physical edge from both teams so far. But yeah, it's been, like I say, a good tempo so far, but maybe a lack of very clear-cut chances being created so far.
Yeah,
a lot of shots from the outside.
If there's one thing is you can't say about these two teams is they haven't been clinical enough this year. Both teams shooting around 9% on the year. Pitbulls 8.91, Bees at 9.28.
Yeah, you want to be converting a higher percentage of your shots to goals, really, than that.
Yeah, league average is around about 12.5.
Yeah.
His Nags is brought down by Reagan, and Bobby Reagan loved his 2 minutes in the box so much he's going back there again. 9.39, 2 for tripping for the young Pitbull.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, a pretty clear-cut trip. One of the more clear-cut trips you're going to see this year. And again, an offensive zone penalty, that's not something that Barry McKenzie and Tony Redmond are going to be particularly happy with. There's no real danger there on the play for the Pitbulls. So, yeah, it's a sort of penalty. Bobby Reagan is a young player. He's I think only about 18 years old. So
he's 18.
He's 18. So, you know, it's not going. He's going to make those kind of plays from time to time.
Pitbulls win the draw, but the clearance is blocked by Mog. Down low. They'll get another chance at it now as Butler fires around the boards. Not kept in at the blue line by Gabai. He will carry it back into the zone himself. Pulls out wide. Tries to draw a Pitbull out of position. Down low, fire through the zone. No one there in a yellow shirt. Wilstead wrong-footed on that one. Mog back to collect. Gabai with a no-look drops it off to Price as McKenzie drags Gabai down. Morris, again, also liked his trip so much he'd like to go again by the looks of it. 1:17 left on the man advantage. Morris stood up at the blue line, but the puck trickles in with him. Mog fired across to Gabai, steps inside one. Don Gabai shot, screened in front, saved by Napier. Pitbull's clear, right out of his net to play it. I say Max Wright is entertaining when he leaves his crease. Harvey also on the power play, loses the puck. Harewood will take that back and kill a few more seconds.
Wow, if they're going to call him up, if you're going to get called up, might as well get some ice time.
Yep. Have a night, lad. Pitbulls short-handed the other way with Harewood. Spins away, and he'll just kill some more time for the Pitbulls. Harewood finds it length of the ice. Wright will leave it for Harvey. 25 seconds left before Reagan rejoins the game. The right-hand wall, tipped ahead by Rose. Napier out of his net to play it. Round to Hamill, he will fire that one. Wright has to watch that one. And a very good job by the Pitbulls again on this penalty kill. The Bees, the loss of Balaz on this man advantage is quite noticeable.
Yes, yeah, I was going to say, there was a pass earlier in that power play, the one that came across the zone and straight out, and that was very much a pass that would be aimed for Marcel Balaz, who isn't here, I would say. Yeah.
Haven't seen Josh Kelly return to the game, nor have we seen Ben Davies, so we'll just
keep an eye on that one.
Keep an eye on them for you as the Bees ice the puck. 8 minutes exactly remaining in the first. As Cathcart and Lipsy rejoin the game following their fighting majors.
Josh Kelly is still on the bench.
Kelly is on the bench. Also, we can't see from where we're stood whether or not Davies is on the Pitbulls bench, so we do apologise. We're obviously at the far right of the rink as you look at it up from home. Bees warned off the face-off. Morris wins the draw. The Bees are stuck at the moment with 3 D-men really on the ice. Dangerous turnover as Ewan Hill gets a chance, fired over the bar. Turnover down low. Smith keeps it in at the blue line. Back to Hill. Tries to play it down to Hamill. Knocked off by Stead. Stead high off the plexi. Flipped it away. Rossbottom tries to get around Smith. Met by Hamill. And offside is called on Rossbottom. Couldn't hear it, but it is offside. both teams will change.
Yeah, it's just getting a little bit scrappy at the moment. Neither team quite being able to get the momentum back after that little run of penalties. Now we're back playing 5-on-5 hockey.
Fence off, won by the Bees. Josh Kelly, who is back out on the ice, gets the centre ice line and throws it ahead. Fun bounce off of the rink doors. Carries it almost into danger. Pitbulls will break the other way. Lipsy tries to chip it around Ty Cathcart. Can't. Good work on the forecheck by Morris. Gets the puck back for the Pitbulls. Down low, Lewis gets a stick lift by Will Birch. Kept in the blue line. No offside is called. Morris helps it on its way. Napier pushes it into the corner. Turned over, goodbye. Can't take the puck with him. As Tom says, it gets scrappy. Shot from the blue line. Sticked away by Napier into the netting. There's a break in play. Face off stay inside the B zone. Face off to the right of Max Wright. Pitbulls get a warning on that one. And win the draw anyway, thanks to Price. Back to the blue line, shot through traffic, tipped in front. Wright sees it late, but he does save it. Off the stick of Smetham. Harewood wins the ball battle against Paul. Spins away from him. Another tumble in front by Price. Kept in the blue line, thrown towards goal. Wright sticks a glove up at it and makes the save.
Yeah, again a bit of scrappiness. A couple of guys losing edge in the play. Like I say, it's kind of just that kind of chippy play, and neither team seems to be able to quite get that momentum to just keep the puck moving in the zone enough at the moment.
Smetham jumps in front on the puck. Puck off the heel of Harewood's skate, goes through the zone and falls to Will Stepp. Stepp gets over centre ice, throws it into the zone, evades the hit from Sam Smith, is what I was going to say. Pitbulls get it under control. Stead returns the favour, kept in by Nags. Nags' shot is head high for Napier, and he makes the easy grab.
Yeah, after being the busier netminder for the first few minutes of the game, I'd say Napier's probably had a bit of a quieter spell the last few minutes. The Bees haven't really been able to get any sustained zone time. I think Max Wright has had to make 3 or 4 kind of, again, from the outside, but 3 or 4 saves since Napier last touched the puck before that shot from Nags.
There's been nothing really high danger in the last few minutes.
No.
I think someone's lost a net guard at the back there for the Pitbulls. It's currently lying on the floor behind Napier's net.
Huh.
Pitbulls with it, almost turned over. Rossbottom didn't know whether or not the jump.
I think it's Jacob White's save. It's just gone off.
Chance for Mackenzie is stopped by Mitchell. Cochrane at the blue line, down low. Hamill. Back to the blue line. Hill. Fired across. Cochrane with a chance, fired wide. Bees a bit at 6s and 7s here, not quite sure what to do. Shot through traffic, goes all the way through and in. Cam Hamill's going to claim it with a tip in front, but more importantly, the Pitbulls lead, 14:34, time of the goal.
Well, they get the traffic in front, the puck comes in from the point again, and this time I do think there was a noise, whether it was Hamill's stick or not. I think that has, for me, on that replay, it does look like it's flicked off the stick of Hamill. The shot, I think it was you and Hill, just firing one from the point. Hamill gets in front of the eyes of Wright and tips it into the top corner.
We're going to give it to Hamill. If I'm anything like last week, it's going to be given to someone completely different.
Well, I think it was Hamill. It's just hard to tell whether that's who that's hit, but there was definitely a sound of, 2 sounds.
Cam Hamill's second of the year for the Pitbulls. Kelly fired to his goal, blocked. Breakout pass stopped by Kelly again. Pitbulls are allowed to get the puck back off the offside call. And Hamill is given the goal. Hamill from Hill and Butler is the Pitbulls' first goal of the evening. Morris chips it on ahead to give chase himself. Run around the boards. Erskine down low. Roman Cathcart gives chase. Takes it away from Whitesay. Pitbulls bring it the other way. One man on his own into the zone in Elliot Lewis. Josh Kelly on the back check stops that one in its tracks. Price, good job of holding off Morris, loses an edge. Smetham tries to go back to Price, stick lifting there by Morris, prevents the chance. Pitbulls still with it. Back to White-Say, fire through traffic, another tip from Smetham, but that one's wider than net. Kelly can't beat Harewood to the puck. Cathcart for company. Down low, Price once more. Finds Harewood as he goes into the slot. Tries to go back to the blue line. Does. Shot again. Save right. Rebound. Falls to Price. Can't do anything. Good work on the back end by Kelly and Morris. Price. Again, lovely ability to make space out of nothing. Harewood takes the hit from Ty Cathcart. Gets the puck again. Erskine stick lifting it back to White-Say at the blue line. Shot through traffic. Wider than net this time. Cathcart will try and bring it around the boards. Morris helps it on its way and out of the zone. Chip ahead for Smith. Pitbulls go for a change. That will leave it for Stuart Mogg. Good bit of pressure from the Pitbulls.
Yeah,
just a shame about nothing really real quality getting on.
Yeah, it's been a really good spell for them. They've done as the play goes offside in the B's end, but yeah, they've done a really good job of just keeping that pressure in the zone. They've had a few chances. Again, they are getting more traffic to the net now. The shots are coming from the outside, but they are getting the tips on it, which I think if you're going to shoot from the outside, that's what you're going to need. You've got to take the goalie's eyes away, move or redirect the puck, as they have been. So yeah, this has been a really good spell, and the Bees have been running around chasing shadows a little bit for the last 4 or 5 minutes of this game.
Will Stead is currently heading to the locker room for the Bees, which is not something they'd want to be seeing at the moment.
Great pass from Nags through and just bounced off the stick of Goodbye.
Nappy out of his net to play it, only finds Josh Poole. Goodbye braces himself for the hit from Butler. Bundled down, puck knocked loose, Antonov. Lovely moves from Antonov to get away from two Pitbulls forwards. Shot from Ross Bottom. He's kicked aside by Napier. Tries to cover up. Napier instead played into trouble. And now more words being exchanged. Dom Goodbye making friends with the Pitbulls defence.
Yeah. Can't see who it is from here. But yeah, a bit better from the Bees. It was a really, really good heads-up stretch pass from Ollie Nags, which allowed them to get into the zone. Yeah, I couldn't see who the Pitbulls, even on that replay, couldn't see who the Pitbulls player that Goodbye took offence to was. But yeah, a better shift for the Bees, and you know they do need to get some momentum because the Pitbulls have been the better team for the last few minutes of this game for sure.
Yep, they win the face-off again that time. Can't get on the end of the clearance. Harvey Stead plays himself into a bit of trouble. Can't get past Mason Lipsey. Ross Bottom up the right-hand wall. Played ahead. Morris tips it on ahead. It's called icing. Morris argues his case that he's tipped it on at centre ice, but the referee's call stands. Face off to the left of Max Wright. Justin London, Liam Morris still having words about that call. Shot from White-Say from the blue line is wide. Rose first to the loose puck. Will carry it himself. Steps around White-Say, takes the hit and loses the puck. Kept down by Stead. Mitchell. Stead with it now. Plays himself again into trouble. Reagan all over him. Stead brings it away. Mitchell sidesteps a hit from Smitham. Stead flipped on ahead. That is going to be icing on that one. That was clear and obvious, sadly.
Yeah, that one. There's no. If there was arguments about the first one, there was no arguments on that one. That's for sure.
1:12 left in the first. The Pitbulls with the lead.
It's going to allow Liam Morris to continue to talk with Justin along the list.
Making friends with the officials. Dan Rose wins the draw again. Mitchell around the boards. Rossbottom can't clear. Falls back down to Price. Harewood. Brilliant pass off to Price. Price shot saved by Wright. Loose in front. Smith was swarmed by two Bs. Chance of hits the post. The attempted clearance was kept in by Butler. His shot trickles through everyone and hits the post. Bees try and go for a change. It's 5-on-2. That one is offside. As Price can't get back on side. 45 seconds to go in the first.
The Bees get a break there for sure. I think Max Wright, his best friend there was the ironwork. He was just unsighted as the shot from Butler came through all of that traffic. He couldn't pick the puck and it's bounced off the ironwork and away.
Neutral zone face-off. More words being had between players and officials.
Yeah, this game has definitely been chippy. Yeah, chippy so far.
Held up. Pitbulls come away with it into the zone again. Stopped by Mogg. Nax received the pass. Flipped on ahead and that's icing again.
Paul
is going to beat it on the far side. Gets there ahead of Butler. Pitbulls on the charge the other way. The Bees on an offside call. Smith to the front of the net. Price with the tip takes it wide of the goal. Shot from the blue line. Wright does brilliantly well to recover. Price crashing the net on that first chance to get the tip. Wright gets bundled in the process. Does a brilliant job of recovering to make the second save.
Yeah, it's a really good recovery from Wright because, as you say, he got knocked over and kind of caught under the two players in front of the net. So he's done really well to get back up and make the save. The Bees they just want to get through the next 15 seconds now and get to the period break because they have been running around a little bit the last 10 minutes, and they need I think that this break now just to kind of have a discussion and kind of work out how to play this Pitbull side.
Another shot on goal, kicked aside by Wright. Nags bundled down by Price. Mogg tries to clear out to Paul, kept in the blue line. Shot in front, that one goes wide again. Tip possibly off the stick of Price again. Another chance, stopped by Goodbye, and the Bees will survive to the end of the period. A period that has been played with a physical edge. Both teams having large periods of the spells in the period of dominance. The Pitbulls very much on the front foot those last 8 minutes and deservedly get the goal from a Cam Hamill tip in front. And Tom, the Bees look a bit, well, I don't want to say lackadaisical, but they look like they don't really have a plan at the moment.
Yeah, well, they started the game all right, but I think the last kind of 7 or 8 minutes of that period, they've been chasing shadows, they've been running around, they've just not had an answer to the kind of speed and the forecheck of the Bristol Pitbulls at all. They've not really been able to get out of the zone. Beyond that one really good stretch pass from Nags, which gave them a shift in the offensive zone. They've just really not been able to get out of there. We've played 7 or 8 minutes down this end of the ice, and yeah, it's been very, very difficult for the Bees, and they definitely need to have a rethink, I think, in this period break, because otherwise the Pitbulls are just going to continue to turn up this intensity.
Yeah, well, we'll be back with you in about 15 minutes' time here at the hangar. It's Berkshire Bees 0, Bristol Pitbulls 1. Welcome back to the hangar. We're just under 2 minutes away from, well, I say the start of period number 2, but we'll see what the Zamboni going round. Scores elsewhere in the league. Final score, Sheffield Steel Dogs 5, Solway Sharks 2. At the end of the second, it's the Leeds Knights 2, the Milton Keynes Lightning 0. And currently in the same period, it's the Peterborough Phantoms 5, Romford Raiders 2. And at the end of the first, Telford Tigers 3, Hull Seahawks 0.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a shock, particularly, obviously, Telford playing their 3rd game of the weekend. They did get the win in Sheffield, but then a heavy loss in Swindon last night. I think the goal was in that one coming from, if I can correct myself.
Everyone.
Well, yes. No, I mean, I was talking about this tonight.
You've got your phone in your hand!
And I looked, so yeah, it was just I looked beforehand. It was a Yokoyama, McKenzie and Luca with the goals on that one.
Here it is, the Berkshire Bees 0, the Bristol Pitbulls 1. Shots on goal for the first period. There were 11 on Max Wright and 11 on Tommy Napier. The one goal was a beautiful tip shot by Cam Hamill. And Tom, we said it, the back end of that first period, the Pitbulls really put their foot down and really turned up the gas, and they deserved the lead.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. They were the better team for the last 7-8 minutes of that period. They put a lot of pressure on the Bees goal. They started to get, like I said, they started to get bodies in front of the net. The goal obviously comes from a tip, but they also had a few other chances around the net. Wright had to be really alert. Obviously, they hit the post as well with the shot from Butler late in the period. So, yeah, they fully deserved the lead. They arguably could have been further ahead than one at the end of the period. And the Bees have really got to step up in this second period if they're going to get themselves back into this game, because they can't spend, the entire game in their own zone if they want to get something out of this game tonight.
The Bees' problem at the moment, obviously, is the rather noticeable loss of Marcel Balaz, and for the Pitbulls, it makes life a lot easier. You take Gabay and Antonov out of the game, you make everybody else beat you, and it's something the Bees haven't got at the moment this year. They need to find a way.
Yeah, other guys have to step up and step up and put up numbers, and I appreciate that the team is built with Marcel Balaz being your top guy in mind, and he is. He's got 12 goals in 11 games coming into tonight's game, so he's the big goal scorer here. But other guys have got to step up. You can't rely on one guy to do the bulk of your scoring if you're going to be successful. And yeah, it's obviously noticeable, and it does, particularly coming in on a Sunday and having played last night and then missing tonight. It does change the lines. Obviously we saw on the power play there were times where people were looking for the guy who isn't there. But yeah, obviously, at the end of the day, it's easy to say, well, Balaz is the guy that's missing, but other guys have got to step up at this point. They're on the team for a reason, and they've got to step up and put some pressure on Napier. Equally, Bristol have just got to keep doing what they're doing, because right now they are the better team in this hockey game.
They've been phenomenal, and all three lines of the Pitbulls have done their job spectacularly well. And say the goal coming from Cameron Hamill was the icing on the cake of that first period. Can they keep it up for another 20 minutes? Let's start with 20 before we go to 40. Yep. No change in terms of netminders. Josh Kelly did go back to the bench. Will Stead did go back to the bench. Did not see Ben Davies, should be the update, as the Bees win the opening puck drop for period number 2. Quickly turn over Smetham over the Price as he carries it over the blue line. Shot across goal, kept in by Butler at the other end. Takes the selection into the corner. Will Stead, who just completely misplays the puck, turns it over for the Pitbulls as everyone seems to be having fun with the freshly cut ice. Fired up the wall, icing waved off. Butler first to it. Finds Smith. He gets poke checked by Paul. Around to Butler, he goes back to Smith, that bounces away from him again. High off the boards, goes length of the ice, icing called on that one. And an early chance for the Bees.
Yeah, this is, as you say, an opportunity for them. They haven't had a lot of zone time in the last 10 minutes of that first period. So yeah, now they've got the offensive zone face-off. They're going up against a slightly, tired line who've been out for a minute already, because this is the line that started the period for the Pitbulls. So, if you're the Bees, you really want to take a chance, take advantage of these opportunities.
Just as Tom says that, Pitbulls immediately win the draw. Smith tries to go off the ball to Smetham. Blocked by Rose. He has to go back on the forecheck from Price. Flipped high to Harvey Stead. Played on ahead. Icing waved off once again. Butler off the boards, kept in centre ice. Push on ahead, Smith again. Finds Smetham, foot race between Stead and Harewood. Harewood wins that one. Drop pass to Cam Hamill, but Adam Rossbottom reads that one and intercepts. Harvey Stead up the left-hand side to Vanya Antonov. Stead will crash the net, no one there. White Say with a good stick lift to get in the way of that one. He'll try and blow past Antonov. Carries it in the head. Turns, fires towards goal. Wide. Hamill collects the loose puck. White Say shot from the blue line blocked. Still trickles through, but only as far as Harvey Stead, who clears. Stead carries it over centre ice. Antonov again. Looking for an option. Download a Rossbottom. Tries to go back to Antonov. He can't get his stick through Ewan Hill. The puck leaves the zone. Hamill, first to the loose puck, under pressure from Morris. Gets away from him. Hill evades the hit from Stead. Tries to shovel one in short side on right. Clamps the pad to the post and holds on. Now the break in play. Apologies if you're trying to follow on the stats online on NIHLnational.com. As if you are, it still currently reads that it's 0-0. We can confirm it is most definitely Pitbulls 1, Bees 0. The Pitbulls win the draw. Lewis in the corner. Board battle in the corner. Pitbulls come away thanks to Lipsy. Finally brought away by Morris. Gets over centre ice, flips it ahead. Napier pushes it over to Butler. Tycalf gets there ahead of Mason Lipsy. Roman can't get there ahead of Butler. Smith at the right-hand wall, takes the hit from Morris. He gets at the other end of the ice. Lipsy misses one on Mitchell. Bees the other way. Thrown cross ice, Erskine. Back up to the blue line and Nags. Two Pitbulls bearing down. Morris skates to the bench and leaves the puck for Sean Morris. Lovely stretch pass, finds Bailey Harewood. From goal, Harewood will go to wraparound attempt, tries to drop it off to Smeton. No one there in a blue shirt this time. And the Bees come the other way. Will Stead, it goes offside on that one. Jumped the gun. Neutral zone face off on that one. It's just under 4 minutes gone in the second.
Yeah, it's still very scrappy from the Bees, and the Pitbulls are still doing the bulk of the running in this game. It's kind of carried on a little bit from the end of the first period.
Pushed ahead. No one there in the yellow shirt. Icing waved off again rather generously. Whitesay easily outmuscles Josh Paul on that one. Smethan carries it the other way. Little chip and chase around Ollie Nags, who blows a tyre. All up down low. Puck back to Price. Cochrane through traffic. That seemed to be kicked aside by Wright. Bees clear. Pass behind Goodbye. Turned over again. Goodbye will have the chance. We know it's coming. Tries to step inside Cochrane. Fires it wide of Napier's right-hand post. Nags tries to chip it round both Price and Whitesay. That one doesn't work. Mogg is back to collect the loose puck off the Pitbulls clearance. Mogg fired over the pool. Tips it ahead as he goes to the bench. Cochrane allowed to get the puck. Leaves it for Harewood. He easily steps aside Rossbottom and Will Stead. Bailey Harewood, coast to coast, fires a shot across the bow of the Pitbulls net. Rhys Cochrane does a very good job of beating out the too many men call as he just jumps on top of the boards. And everything just settles down for a second. McKenzie steps inside Antonov. Hamill helps it on its way. Stead stops it. To head, that one will be icing on that one.
Half a chance for Dongabai there.
There's Ollie Nags forgetting how
blowing a tie.
Yes.
Yeah, half a chance for Dongabai there. Couldn't hit the target. I guess he's going to be the guy that the Bees are going to look to do most of the running here offensively, particularly with Balaj out of the lineup. But yeah, that's going to make it easier for the Pitbulls to close him down if that is going to be the game plan of just run everything through 23.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Fired across the zone. Hill can't get there ahead of Mitchell. Mitchell turns and fires down low. But the first man to it, that one is iced and will come all the way back. This is the downside of having the second period with a long change. You get a lot more of this going on.
Yeah, again looking for the stretch pass, just didn't quite pull it off.
Bit too much on that one.
Yeah. Tyler Butler just made too much of a connection on that pass. We had one in the first period where the connection wasn't good enough, and one there where the connection was a bit too
strong.
Yeah.
Face off, won by the Bees. Back to Ty Cathcart, kept just in. No, it wasn't. It was kept in at the first time of asking. I think on the second one, I can't see who that is. It's me. I think it might be Marcus Mitchell.
It's Josh Kelly, I think.
Josh Kelly just carries it outside the zone.
It wasn't the best pass to Josh Kelly, to be fair to him. I will let him off it. It just rolled again. It was a tricky one to keep in. Just wasn't. I think Ty Cathcart didn't quite get that pass where he wanted it.
Nope.
He was under pressure, to be fair. Good forecheck off the draw from the Pitbulls. And yeah, he just misplaced the pass.
Smith has to backhand that one in, right out of his net to play it. Hill on the forecheck. Puck fired up to Rossbottom on the right-hand side. Cross-ice pass to Antonov, tries to step inside, Butler can't. Napier pushes that one aside. Smith doesn't make the best contact on that one. Rose runs a little pick play, let the puck run to the blue line. Finds Antonov down low. Hold up by Butler. That is being called a penalty, and I have to say, that might be one of the worst calls we'll see all year. The Pitbulls are about to go on the penalty kill, and it feels very generous. Extra man out for the Bees at the moment. Goodbye. Steps inside his man. Shot over the bar. That will go the length of the ice the other way. Please don't go in. Mogg is back to collect.
Nowhere near.
Fired over to Antonov. Back to Goodbye. Gets poke checked away by Butler. And that will see the penalty called. Tanner Butler is going to head to the box.
I think this will be a trip.
It's going to be tripping, but that feels very soft. That's happened right below us, and I don't think he was actually anywhere near Vanya. 26-54 time of the penalty.
Yeah, I don't know.
That feels more a case of perception of where Jarvie is when he calls that. Yes. He sees it from one angle. We have the advantage of being
above it,
15 feet above him. Bees win the draw. Mogg over to Goodbye. If the Bees score on this one, there might be a lot of angry words said from the Pitbulls bench. Goodbye. Bees trying to draw Pitbulls out of position. There's another terrible pass, this time from Antonov as it goes over the blue line. Goodbye back to collect. Mogg leaves it for Will Stead. Ships it ahead. Morris gets there ahead of Whitesay, who blows an edge. Cycled round again. Antonov back to Mogg. Mogg will fire through traffic. Saved by Napier. Stead couldn't get anything on that one. Bundled down by Morris. Back to Goodbye. Liam Morris now. Both of them on the ice. That's helpful. Goodbye. Kept in at the blue line by Mogg again. Will Stead first to it. Attempted clearance kept in by Mogg. Winds up fast with traffic. Blocked by Whitesay in front. Under a minute to go on the man advantage. Mogg, Goodbye. Another block from Whitesay. That one a bit more unintentional. Bouncing puck down low finds Liam Morris. Back to Goodbye. Cycled around. Mogg again. Shot. Kick save. Napier. As Stead takes a hit from Cochrane in front. He's back up on his feet now though. Antonov with a shot. That's blocked by Cochrane, the first man. Sean Morris turns and fires. And it's another very good penalty kill from the Pitbulls.
Yeah, good penalty kill. Some good movement. Just a bit slow from the Bees so far on this power play. And that's offside, a very harsh offside call, I feel. It's definitely, I think, yeah, it's been a good kill for the, a good penalty kill for the Bees, but for the Pitbulls, sorry, but yeah, for the Pitbulls. But yeah, I think the puck movement just needs to be a bit quicker there for the Bees. They're not moving it quite well enough.
They finally just announced the penalty with 25 seconds to go.
I think they perhaps didn't get the number.
If only there was a way of seeing the person in the box right below them. Oh wait. Bees being held at the other end of the ice. Great penalty killing again from the Pitbulls. Harewood. Brilliant little spin move away from Paul, and that will kill the final seconds. McKenzie fires it up the boards, and icing immediately called on that one. Tanner Butler trying to argue his case that he was on the ice, but he was facing the wrong way going to the bench.
I think they're going to make Tanner Butler come out as a forward here as well, because he was the player on the ice when he was trying to get off for a forward. And Tanner Butler is going to be playing on the wing for this draw, I guess. Actually, no, Barry McKenzie was playing D on the penalty kill, so
yep.
McKenzie
It works out in the end. Flipped into the corner by Mog, Rossbottom. Little no-look drop pass, no one there in yellow, but Antonov is the first to it. Gets a helpful bounce off the Zamboni doors. Back to Dan Rose. Rose, fans on the shot. Thought I had a whistle there. Rose. Down low. No one there in yellow. McKenzie coasts over to get the puck. Doesn't clear the zone. Antonov keeps it in. Kept in at the blue line just by Nags. Over to Rose. Down low tip from Antonov. Takes it wide of the goal. Tries to fire one in from below the goal line. Not very near going in the net. Chipped ahead by Butler. Foot race to it. Right beats Lipsy and finds Antonov all the way open at the Pitbulls blue line. Stopped by Smith.
Yeah, better little spell here for the Bees. They're just getting a bit more zone time, a few more pucks towards the goal, but they haven't really forced Napier into a save as of yet.
Antonov carries it into the zone, drops it off for Nags. Good block by Lewis. Puck not loose. Hamill tries to fire it off Nags. White save will find Lewis up the right hand side. Lewis winds up, held up in front, save right, rebound loose. Bees will try and clear. Hamill with a nasty one. That one is going to be called. They're going to go on the penalty again. Shot blocked into the netting by Napier. And Cam Hamill heads to the box. 2 minutes of tripping. 30-23 time of the penalty.
Well, that one looked a bit more clear cut than the last one.
Yes.
Let's put it that way. Yeah, I think it was just a case of maybe a leg catching a leg on the way out of the zone. It happens, unfortunately, if you're a Pitbulls fan. But yeah, the Bees have had a kind of 4 or 5 minute spell here where they've been a little bit more aggressive. They've been able to keep some more zone time, and now with another power play, they have an opportunity to get that top line out again.
They need to make one of these count.
Yeah, that is a trip. Hamill just got the leg out on the Bees player leaving the zone.
Bees need to make one of these man advantages count.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cycles the zone, fired down low. Cochrane with the block. Drop down low to Stead. Poole up on the top power play unit now. Drops it off to Will Stead. Cycles back round to Mog. High shot blocked in front, goes behind the goal. Price will try and clear, kept in at the blue line by Mog again. Goodbye. Little tic-tac-toe shot goes through Napier, I must say, on that one. He didn't look comfortable flat-footed on that save, but he made the save, which is the important part.
Yep.
Goodbye. Cuts the angle down, tries to go to Liam Morris. It's a brilliant stick lift from Tanner Butler in front, who returns it back to Goodbye.
Yeah, it's good. It was good play from Butler there. It was a good play from Goodbye to kind of make the pass in front, looking for the redirect from Morris. But yeah, great stick from Butler just to knock the puck away.
Just under a minute to go on the man advantage. Antonov over the blue line. Drops it off for Liam Morris. Morris shot, takes a deflection, goes over the net. Stead's pass back to Mog. Harewood tries to close the angle down. That puck trickles through everything. McKenzie first to it, ahead of Goodbye. Fires the length of the ice. Lipsy jumps on the loose puck. Pitbulls quite happy to take it all the way back and kill time here. McKenzie fired towards goal. Right, plays it and leaves it for Mog.
Yeah, it's been another solid penalty kill for the Pitbulls. You know, they're keeping it outside as much as they can, and that's where Napier's going to make the saves. If you're just getting pucks in from outside the zone or outside the slot, anyway.
Morris. Fans on the pass. Pitbulls back to full strength, throws a shot on goal. White say with the block. Breakaway chance. Elliot Lewis straight off the bench. Harvey Stead bundles him down. Good hit. And the Bees recover again. And break the other way. Long stretch pass over to Antonov. Misses him. Icing waved off. McKenzie turns, fires. Stead can't keep it in at the blue line. Another loose pass from the men in yellow. White say. Over to McKenzie, who is still playing D at this point. 4 forwards on the ice for the Pitbulls. Rossbottom collects. 2-on-2 the other way for the Bees. Drops it off in front for Rose. His shot Off the shoulder of Napier, he holds on, and every team will reset. 6:50 to go in the second.
That's a great defensive play from Harvey Stead. Agricultural, it has to be said.
Yes.
There was no messing around on that one, but
he had to time it right.
He had to do it right, because otherwise that's going to be a penalty shot.
Yes.
If he gets that one wrong, that's going to be a penalty shot for Elliot Lewis. So, yeah, he had to time it right, and he did. Yeah, there was taking no prisoners there, Harvey Stead.
Pitbulls win the draw, fired round the boards. Bees keep it in for a second. Smith over to Reagan. Hill carries it over blue line, back to Reagan. Stands on the puck. The Pitbulls want a penalty on that one. Back to Smith, shot through traffic. Heavy sound off the blocker of right. Butler winds up, fires. That one's over the bar and out the zone the other way. Smith's attempted clearance, stopped by Goodbye, who even the coach is now throwing hits. Lead by example, I guess, as Hamill takes it the other way. Good work from Harvey Stead, breaks up that rush. And there's another penalty coming on which team? I think it's the Bees.
Yep.
Harvey Stead is being called 2 for hooking on that one. We don't have the best angle from here, I must admit.
No, and there was a crowd of players around as well. So
33-59, Harvey Stead heads to the box for hooking. This is the bit where we look at Nick and his magical replay machine, and we'll see what happened. Hopefully.
No, not working.
Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. 2 for hooking, 33-59.
For some reason, the face-off is coming in the...
Well, hang on a minute. We thought it was Harvey Stead. It's actually been given to Cameron Hamill.
Hamill.
There we go.
But
see, I'm innocent on that one. You all heard Tom say it.
Yeah. What was confusing was the Bees had the puck when it was blown down. That was why.
I think that's what threw everyone off.
Threw everyone. So Cameron Hamill for a hook.
So Cam Hamill for the hook. The Bees with yet another power play. Let's see if they can do anything with it this time.
Well, it's not a great start to this as Price drives down the wing. And
Price blows past Mogg, who is absolutely knackered. Rebound chance in front. That's somehow missed on the backhand by Price.
Yeah, this is gonna be an issue here for the Bees as well. This is a penalty power play unit that's been out for most of the last 6-7 minutes, or will have been out for most of the last 6-7 minutes by the end of this.
Antonov carries it up the left-hand wall, drops it off for Goodbye. Antonov back high to Mogg, who that one bounces over his stick and out the zone. And offside called on the Bees there.
Yeah, it's just all very scrappy, and you can just see frustration starting to grow here for the Bees. This is the penalty. So the arm goes up there. The arm was already up at that point. So I think it was. There is a. Yeah, it's hard to tell from that. Cam Hamill hooked him apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
We'll go with it.
What do we know?
Well, it's in that awkward position.
It's in the blind spot.
It's in the blind spots.
Morris back to the blue line. Over to Antonov.
Nick's giving us a I told you so. Ooh.
Morris with a chance in front, off the rebound, and Liam Morris finally gets one in on the power play. 34-55, and Morris is second of the season.
Well, we said that they had to make one of these power plays count. You see the shot come in for the point. It kind of pops off of Napier, and Morris just about manages to handle the rebound and fire it home. Almost got over his stick, but he manages to corral it and fires it over a sprawling Napier. And the Bees have probably earned that goal. They have had a lot of pressure. They've obviously been helped with the penalties.
Yeah.
And the Bristol getting into penalty trouble, but yeah.
The mishandle there probably actually helps out the sliding D-man across. It gives him just enough of a window.
Enough window to get it, yeah, because Napier was still coming down, so.
So, tie game. Harewood carries it out the zone, loses the handle on the puck, and Mogg. Harewood finishes his hit on the captain. Smith looks up and sees that Harewood would have been offside. Butler over to Hill. Butler carries it over the blue line. Stopped straight away. Morris from Antonov and Goodbye is the Bees' first goal. Another big hit thrown, and another one there for the Bees, and then another one from Ollie Nags on Reece Smetham. McKenzie. Held up by Mogg. Hill takes a tumble. Back to Smith at the blue line. Smith winds up, fires, nothing time. Puck loose in front. Bees able to jump on it. Good work from Antonov just to push it away from danger as Rossbottom takes a heavy hit. Nothing wrong with that one, though.
Yeah. Does just feel that that goal has injected some energy back into this game. It was getting scrappy.
Price finds Hamill, shot, uses the screen in front, save from right. Loose puck picked up by Rossbottom. Tries to fire it over everyone's heads. Cochrane gloves it down himself. Antonov able to just position himself in front as Cochrane throws him down. And offside is called. Oh, high stick.
Stick. Yeah, Rhys Cochrane using the size advantage here to his.
No.
No, you are not. You will not have the puck in my defensive zone.
Yes, go away.
Go away. Go away, Vanya.
I should say on that one with the assist, Vanya Antonov's 250th Berkshire Bees point. His 14th point of the season, and that gets him to point 250. Bees come away with the puck. Paul over centre ice. Gets immediately dispossessed by White Say. Shot blocked into the netting high by Wright. And as Tom says, the pace has all of a sudden just picked up.
Yeah, I think obviously the Bees have had those power play opportunities. We said, like I say, we said they had to take one of them. But yeah, it's definitely brought just some energy back into the game. It was starting to get a bit scrappy. I think the Bees were starting to get a little bit desperate at times potentially. They weren't really creating much. But yeah, now I think it's just kind of given both teams a little bit of an edge.
Back on the line as the Bees come away with the puck. Loose stretch pass. Napier has to play it, so it washes out any icing call. White Say there to collect. Moves away from Erskine and chips it round Birch. Lipsy just doesn't keep that in. Pitbulls disagree with the call, but it's another dubious offside call on the night. Now it's one each. Bees come away with the puck. Good little hit there from Justin Lalonde. Will Birch gives him a tap on the way past there as well. We tick under 3 minutes remaining in the second. Birch bounces that one off Cochrane. Ty Cathcart back to collect. Morris blocked by Lipsy. It's turned away. Lewis able to get there ahead of Ty Cathcart. Spins away from the corner. Back to Cochrane. Shot blocked in front. That one will trickle wide of the goal. Someone's lost the stick as there's one currently lying in the offensive zone. It's held up down low. You can tell we're struggling for commentary when it's ball battles like this.
Yeah, particularly at the far end. Oh, for us the far end.
We say it's a ball battle. No one's actually moved in about 10 seconds.
I was going to say, let's just blow this down and start again, shall we?
Let's let common sense prevail. So I know asking for common sense.
It was Ty Cathcart's stick. For
asking for common sense in British hockey is a long stretch.
Yeah.
2:10 to go in what is now a tie game. Bees come away with the puck. Nags around the net. Clears the zone. Butler is there. Will spin and fire it back to Sam Smith. I think it's safe to say we're not seeing Ben Davies the rest of the night.
Nope.
Howard from his own blue line. Tries to bulldoze his way through Gabay instead. Does a somewhat decent job of it. Kept in the blue line by Smith. Harewood will fire. That comes off a leg. Shoots right across the defensive zone. Pitbulls turning over. Harewood in front with a chance. Smetham's bundled down. That's got to be an interference call. I'm sorry, it does. And the Bees rightly go on the penalty kill. 38-31. And what do you know? 2 minutes. Interference.
Yep, I think that is absolutely clear cut. It is
It's Will Stead.
Will Stead in the box.
Hey, It's got to be Will Stead this week because Marcel's not playing.
Yeah, it's Will Stead in the box. So, and I think there's no real debate about that one. No debate about that one whatsoever. So a chance for the Pitbulls to go onto the power play towards the end of this period.
Big 90 seconds for both teams. Pitbulls potentially could go in with a lead. The Bees, you feel it's just a case of try and keep the shots outside again. Mackenzie. Butler, it's already good puck movement from the Pitbulls. And then it's immediately dispossessed. Goodbye tries to get it around Butler. Foot race to it. Butler loses it against the linesman. Goodbye shots on goal. Saved by Napier. And bundled down in the process by Mackenzie. Nothing wrong there. Tanner Butler admonishing Justin Lalonde for his positioning, as is the Pitbulls bench. Rightly so on that one.
Yeah, Butler just gets tangled up here with the lines. You're just going to be able to see it in the corner. He's not very happy. Yeah, understandably not very happy with it.
I think Dom maybe thought he had a bit less time than he did. I think if he put the usual move of cutting in a little, he'd have had a window. Bees win the draw though.
That's Liam Morris and Tanner Butler off Justin Lalonde's Christmas card list
Absolutely.
so far.
Price into the final minute of the second period. He'll carry it over the blue line. Butler back down to Price. Back to Harewood. Shot blocked off Goodbye in front. Fired off the boards. Bees clear the zone. Butler back to collect. We tick down to 40 seconds. Price drops it off for Harewood. Into the zone. Moves aside from Mogg. Back to Butler. Shot saved by Wright into the corner. Mogg first man to it. Clears it just to the blue line where Butler does a good job of keeping it in. Harewood loses out to Mogg. Bees will just clear it out. Butler, fantastic grab to break the breakout pass up to Antonov. Carries it in himself. Mackenzie, little tip pass down to Price. Don't think Price was expecting it as Antonov carries it himself. Drops it off for Ollie Nangs. Over the blue line, has a shot, but that's wide of the net. And the buzzer will go. It's a game that's been really bizarre for that first 10 minutes of the period. The Bees, with several power play opportunities, finally get one to count. Liam Morris on the back door, roofing one over Tommy Napier's extended leg. After 40 minutes, it's Bees 1, Pitbulls 1, and Tom, this game has obviously been played with an edge most of the night. The speed really picked up once the goal had gone in.
Yeah.
You feel like there's a lot more left in this game, but because of how scrappy it is, it feels the first team that makes a big mistake could be costly.
Yeah, definitely. You've got two really solid netminders here, and two teams who, as we say, haven't been clinical this year. So if you give up one slip and you give up a break, or a misplay in front of the net, it could be the difference between getting something out of this game and not. I definitely think it was a better period for the Bees in the first. Obviously, again, they were helped by having that little run of power plays. But yeah, Bristol came back into it again well at the end. They forced a penalty, and they did well on that. They looked really good on that power play up until the end, barring the one breakaway that Goodbye had. So yeah, I think it's all set up nicely for the third.
Well, we'll be back with about 15 minutes time for the third period. It's Berkshire Bees 1, Bristol Pitbulls 1. Welcome back to the hangar for the third and possibly final period of tonight's game. As Nick tries to show Annika his camera. No, it's not a euphemism. Elsewhere in the league, Peterborough Phantoms 7, Romford Raiders 3 in the third. Telford Tigers 4, Hull Seahawks 2 at the end of the second. And the Leeds Knights MK Lightning. Helpfully, it just says final in a shootout, but it says 2-2. Lightning take the win in penalties. Tim Wallace with the shootout winner. NIHL National, useless as always. Here in the hangar, as the officials join us for the third period, it's Bees 1, Pitbulls 1. Shots on goal in the second period, 10 on Max Wright, 5 on Tommy Napier. Just as we said, it was a really good period. You get less shots. Sod's law. Liam Morris with the power play marker in that one, following the 3 power plays given to the Bees in that period. And Tom, a big final 20 minutes here. Both teams still in this.
Yeah, well, definitely. Obviously, it's a tied game. It's basically a 20-minute hockey game now for these two teams. Obviously, and I think it's big for momentum. It's big for momentum because for Bristol, this is their third game in 3 nights. They've obviously not taken it. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that they're playing 3 and 3. They look quick and they look, they still look pretty fresh. Obviously, but they've lost those 2. So for them, they'll really want to. It's important for them to just try and get something out this weekend for the Bees. for the third weekend in a row. You know, they won on the Saturday. They won on the on the Saturday. They haven't yet been able to convert one of those Sunday games into a 4-point weekend. So for the Bees, I think it's big for them to try and get the win in this third period, just to kind of get over that hump of win one, lose one, win one, lose one. So I think, yeah, it's an important period for both teams early in this, and yeah, early on in the season as well. It's always nice to make sure you're getting those points on the board, as we said earlier.
Pitbulls with 32 seconds at the man advantage to start the third. Producer Annika would like it known that don't mention 4-point weekend. Especially, yes, that was aimed at you, Tom. Especially since given the last 2 weekends, we've usually followed up a win on the Saturday by getting heavily beaten. And there's still time for the Pitbulls to score 6 as the Bees win the opening puck drop for period number 3. Morris jumps ahead of Harewood, just helps the puck out of the zone. Pitbulls in the other way. Price back to the blue line. Shot from no man's land, easily gloved by Wright. He'll hold on. 12 seconds left on a man advantage at the start of the third. Early save for Wright in this third period. And as we said, you don't want to be the team that makes the first mistake. Bristol have already shown that they can shut a game down for large periods. They did so for most of that second period. Shot deflected over the bar. Bees will return to full strength as Morris clears the zone. Morris then completely whiffs on a hit on Tanner Butler. Pitbulls keep it, still with it. Shot saved by the shoulder of Wright. Price with the chance. Butler collects the rebound, turns twice. Tip from Sean Morris, takes it wide. Dan Rose, first to it. Fired over to Rossbottom. Fired over to a wide open Dan Rose again. Rose back across goal. No one there in a yellow shirt, or as they were caught on a line change. Pitbulls the other way. Lovely from Howard again as he stick-handers away round Harvey Stead. Takes on a full lap of the zone and then gives the puck to Vanya Antonov. Antonov with Harewood to beat, gets it under control, steps inside the hit. Lovely from Vanya Antonov. Shot brilliantly blocked in the end by Jacob White-Say. Back to the blue line. Mitchell winds up, fires, blocked by Sean Morris. That one looked like it hurt. Pitbulls once again over the blue line with Smetham. No look pass, only finds Harvey Stead. Over centre ice, dumped into the zone. Around the boards it goes to Erskine. Roman Cathcart with it. Around the back of the net. Tries to drop it off, no one there in a yellow shirt. Smith helps it on its way. Pitbulls finally bring it clear. Over the blue line from Hill, he's stood up by Mitchell. Pitbulls once again the other way. Brilliant hit from Josh Kelly at the blue line. Stops Elliot Lewis on the rush. Hill once again stopped by Liam Morris. Butler does a good job of holding him up. And then gets thrown to the ice by White-Say. Another big hit delivered. Hill tries to spin round Mog. Here we go, and we get another fight for the night. And Josh Kelly drops Cameron Hamill with one punch.
Well, you can't say that was much of a fight because Cam Hamill just got levelled.
Is that no? Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with Mason Lipsey there. Sorry, I was about to say, is that not his second five? It's not.
No, it's not.
No, brain fart. I recovered from that one. 42-48 time of the penalties. Elbow sit fire for fighting.
That was a very quick fight. It has to be said. I'll say it. You know, Josh Kelly is a much bigger player than Cam Hamill, and he has caught him right on the button with that punch.
Yes.
I guess we'll see where it goes. I think. They were both willing. They both wanted to go.
Yeah. There shouldn't be any supplementary other than fives, but you never can tell.
Yep.
Here's Elliot Lewis getting smoked.
Yep. 5 each. Here it is.
Bang!
Back right on the side of the head, and yeah, down goes Hamill. Plays off in the B zone, won by Goodbye.
So 100 plus
right.
message about the game. Mog.
It's alright, I'm here.
Oh no.
There's two of us for a reason.
Yeah, stops me having an absolute mare like last week because Nags ices the puck. We'll come all the way back.
Well, again, the game got physical for a shift there. Very physical. A couple of huge hits flying in, and eventually Cam Hamill and Josh Kelly decided enough was enough, and they were going to settle it another way.
Let's have a fun fight. Face off to the left of right. Won by the Bees. Paul helps it on its way to Stead. Ships it ahead, gets bundled down by White Say again. Cleanly, I should add. Obviously, Goodbye throws that one through the paint. Saved by Napier. Stead charges down, no one knows where the puck is. White Say eventually sees where it is and tries to clear. Stopped by Goodbye immediately. Puck back to Nags. Nags can't handle it, keeps it in the zone. Traffic in front. Mog winds up, fires, tip in front. Is pushed aside by McKenzie. Pitbulls turn the puck over. Sean Morris helps it out the zone. Mog is there. Goodbye. No look pass finds Josh Paul. Paul steps in. Shot blocked by Cochran. Goodbye again. Finds Paul. Down low. Will Stead. Lovely. Lovely goal from the Bees. And they take the lead 43-52. Will Stead's 5th of the season.
It's a lovely, lovely move, as you say. Just that quick pass across to open it up from Goodbye. Goodbye over to Paul here, and then Paul, presence of mind, just put it back across the front, and Will Stead drives the net and just redirects it. Napier moving across, and it's through the 5-hole and in. It's a lovely goal, and yeah, a physical opening to the period, and just a slight breakdown defensively from the Pitbulls. The Bees take advantage, as we said, and they take the lead.
I'll give him his flowers now. For 16 years old,
yeah.
Josh Paul looks incredible.
Yeah, and that was such presence of mind to just get that puck back across the net. It would have been easy just to try and fire a shot in.
Price on a lap of the zone, backhand pass over to Smith. Winds up, fire blocked by Antonov. Smith and net in the corner by Nags. Harewood able to bring it away. Back up to the blue line. Harewood wants the puck back. Nags with a poke check. Sets Antonov away. He's clear. Stead from Paul from Goodbye. Chipped ahead into the zone by the Pitbulls. Mog, first person there, clears it up the ice. Icing waved off on that one. White Say first hit. Harewood over the line, fires the shot on goal for the spraying down from Stuart Mog, and Max Wright makes the save.
Yeah, now we have to see how Bristol, you know, we've said it, they're in their 3rd game in 3 nights and they've just fallen behind, and they've got 15 minutes to kind of find an answer. So it's going to be interesting to see how this team, you know, who haven't unfortunately been winning enough games this year,
they're definitely not out of it.
Yeah, exactly, and they've played well tonight, and they'll feel they deserve something out of this game. So they just need to keep doing what they're doing, and the chances will come.
Harvey Stead carries it over and out the zone, turns it over. Will Birch able to just stick lift Lipsy and help it away from danger. Puck pushed ahead by White Say, icing called.
Harvey Stead getting a chant. From the
they just like seeing him around.
Yeah, they like having him back for a night.
One night only. Face off down to the right of Napier. Won by the Pitbulls. Cleared off the glass. Askin can't get it under control. Lewis plays it ahead. Stead around the defensive boards. Finds Ty Cathcart. Helps it on its way. Tipped on by Birch. Lipsy can't get on in that one. It will wash out the icing call. Or will it? No, it won't. It is eventually called.
Yeah, a bit of a delayed call on that, but a call nonetheless.
Pitbulls win the defensive zone face-off. Cochrane loses out on the puck. Loose in the low slot. Lovely move again from Josh Poole. Like I said, brilliant job again from the young forward. Pitbulls bring the puck away. White say. Fired cross ice. Mitchell first to the loose puck. Gets center ice and just throws it in. Cochrane not exactly 100% on that one. Wilstead able to beat him to it. 3 Pitbulls around him, but Wilstead, great job of outmuscling his man. Fires goodbye. Shot saved by Napier. Pitbulls bringing out the zone. White say. Finds Lewis. Mogg. Around the balls. Helped on its way. Game just beginning to space out a little. Kept into the blue line by the linesman. Pitbulls in with a chance. Glove down by Hill. Mitchell blocks it with a stick. Shot takes a deflection. Luckily for Wright, he could not see it. He goes wide of the post. Rose spins away from McKenzie. Mitchell. Broken up by McKenzie that time. Hill gets there first. Rossbottom sets Rose away. To Antonov. Rossbottom in the corner. Can't get away from Hill. Pokes the puck loose. Pitbulls bring it the other way. Smith will have to go it alone. Stuart Mogg hauls the man down. And Smith takes an ugly bounce off the board. It's a very tired penalty from Stuart Mogg. And it's 2 minutes of tripping, 47-29 Pitbulls.
I was going to say, Sam Smith has done brilliantly here. He just drives down out of defence on his own, and as you say, it's a tired penalty. Mogg's played a lot of ice time tonight. And yeah, Sam Smith has done brilliantly there to draw that. And yeah, this is a big chance with 12.5 minutes to go in the third period for the Bristol Pitbulls.
Napier is headed over to the Pitbulls bench. Looks like an issue with his mask. It's quickly fixed. So Pitbulls on a man advantage. Big moment for them. 2 minutes or less of 5-on-4. And they win the draw. Shot off the blocker of Wright from Harewood. Back to the blue line. Sean Morris being allowed to just make camp in front of Max Wright. Now Nick Price is doing it. It's 2-on-1 down here, down low. Shot tipped in front. That comes off the mask of Wright. Price collects. Price shot blocked by Goodbye. McKenzie back to the blue line. Down low. McKenzie backdoor off the post and bundled in. The Pitbulls tie it up. I think it's going to be Barry McKenzie off the back of Wright and in. It's a power play goal, 47-58. And Barry McKenzie gets his first of the season.
Well, it's a brilliant tip in the first place from McKenzie, which I think hit the post. And yeah, I think it may have just bounced off the skate of Wright. Absolutely nothing the Canadian can do about that as it squeaks off his skate.
It's just trailing legs.
Absolutely nothing you can do about that. It's a brilliant tip though. That's changed direction a long way on the shot off the point and in. And, well, it was a quick goal on that power play, and with 12 minutes to go, here we are again. It's a tied game.
All tied up. No, you're not allowed to relax. Harvey Stead, he'll argue he's been taken down there. I think he's taken a stick in the mouth for his troubles. He'll skate back to the bench. No, he won't. He's going to stay in the play. White say, chipped ahead to Harewood. Antonov. Over to Rossbottom. McKenzie from Butler is the Pitbulls' second goal. there might be a second assist. We don't know. It wasn't announced.
Potentially a question on the number again on that one. So we'll
TBC into the zone. Mitchell shot fired, saved Napier. Goodbye. Stops the first breakout. Can't do anything about the second. Pitbulls the other way. Puck finds his way to Harewood. Over to Smith and gets an angle. That's off the post. It's another penalty coming. Price crashes the net and takes right with him. Delayed penalty call on the Bees coming up here. So just after they gave up one power play goal, the Pitbulls are going to get a second opportunity. Smetham to Harewood. Shot through traffic, blocked by Rossbottom. Rossbottom's now down hurt. Shot wide of the post. Rebound goes back to Butler. Wilstead does a good job of closing the shooting lane down. Smetham. Shot fired, that goes bar down, and the Pitbulls turn it around on the delayed penalty. Reece Smetham gets his third of the year, 49-30.
Well, that's how you take advantage of that delayed penalty situation. Effectively became a 6-on-4 with Rossbottom hobbled, and that is a bar down shot from an angle from Reece Smetham. He comes across the front and rips it over the glove and the shoulder of Wright. And yeah, it's effectively it's a delayed penalty goal, but again, the Bees take a soft penalty, and yeah, they're going to take advantage of it. I
think there might be another penalty coming.
Yeah, I think have the referees got two different calls? Because both referees had their arms up, so if they've seen different.
Nick Price for the second assist on the Pitbulls' second goal. There's some confusion. Delayed penalty, you score. There shouldn't be a man in the box.
I don't know if they're maybe just the Bees having an argument because of the call on the call that wasn't called on Harvey Stead about 30 seconds before.
It's all just very confusing here.
Yeah, I think the
Bees are now struggling to count to 5. So no, they are.
I think the Bees are probably just unhappy with the penalty call in the first place. I think that's the simple fact, and weren't happy that the fact the Pitbulls were given an opportunity. That's tipped into the benches.
Yeah.
But again, brilliantly works not power play, but use of the man advantage for the Pitbulls, and a great finish from Smetham.
The Bees fans are booing the goal. I've got no idea why. There's nothing wrong with it. Marcus Mitchell was going to be called for the penalty, but obviously nothing with that now. And the Bees now have to find a way to get back in the game. 10 minutes to go. Roman Cathcart battling down low with Tanner Butler. Still battling with it. Bees bring it away. Erskine met by Butler once more. Pitbulls are going to be quite happy for the Bees to have the puck behind the goal. They can't score from there. Finally comes loose, but puck bounces to Bristol. They'll clear it up ice, and icing is called. Stuart Mogg beats Mason Lipsey to it. 9:34 remaining in the third. And the Bees just need to get their heads switched back on here. There's a bit of just running around a bit, not knowing what to do.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of running around, a bit of panic, a bit of frustration maybe from the. Maybe they felt a little aggrieved on that call. I don't know, but yeah, they've got to settle down. They've got to get their heads back in the game because they've got 9.5 minutes here, so there's plenty of time.
It's okay. We're just going to play Sweet Caroline, sing "Good Times" when we're losing. Work that one out. Mogg falls over Lipsey. And then takes a second tumble for his efforts. Puck bounces to Napier. He'll cover up and hold on. And allow both teams to get a change.
Again, you've got to say that Bristol have done the job really well so far tonight. You know, again, it'll be easy for them to kind of switch off with having played these 3-3 nights and 2 of those on the road. They obviously played Milton Keynes on Friday, but yeah, they look really good and have done a really good job of just controlling the game as best they can.
They haven't panicked at any point in the evening, which is important. Smetham fires over to Harewood. Turns and tries to return the favour, but that's broken up by Antonov. He'll find Goodbye, bounces off his skate. Whitesay shovels it along. Price towards Harewood. Puck bounces loose. Falls nicely for Smetham again. Shot fired wide. Bouncy backboards. Goodbye with the big hit on Stuart Mogg. Yes, no, you heard that right. Harewood back to the blue line. Whitesay through traffic. Tip from Smetham takes it over the bar, almost up to us in the balcony. Nags with a big hit on Antonov. What is going on? Bees shot through, Bristol shot through traffic. It was a tip from Smetham, save right. Harewood back to Whitesay. Smetham's pass tipped away by Goodbye. Bees can go the other way. Paul gets centre ice, chips it on ahead. Napier around his net to play it. Takes a bounce. Goodbye gets it ahead of Smetham at the first time, not the second. And Pitbulls will ice it on that one. We'll go the length of the way back as time starts to become the enemy of the home side. Yeah,
but equally, 8 minutes is still, you know, it's a decent amount of time to have, and it's a decent amount of time to have. Yeah, but yeah, they've got to settle it down. They can't get caught running around like they have been at times, and you have to again give credit to the Pitbulls who haven't done that.
No.
At any point in this game, really.
Very composed all night. Harvestead keeps on in the blue line, fired through traffic. Tip from Rose takes it away from Napier's glove, and unfortunately the goal. Another shot, that one's off the pads of Napier. Rossbottom turns and fires again. That one's blocked in front, and Pitbulls will clear. No icing on this one, as it's never going to get far enough. Morris has to come back to play as the Pitbulls change. Fired up to Rossbottom, evades Hamill. Stead, down low to Rossbottom again. Puck in the corner. Finally knocked loose. Hamill can't clear that one at all. Won't get a chance to carry it out this time. Tries to chip it around Harvestead and chase it, but can't. Morris from behind his own net. Over to Harvey. Hamill for company. Tipped on by Rossbottom. Icing is going to be called, and icing given.
So tip behind the red line from Rossbottom, unfortunately. Yeah, just another composed defensive shift from Bristol. Yeah, they let a couple of shots in, but it's stuff still from range, and Napier is generally going to be able to make the saves on those. I think the Bees have got to do a better job of just controlling the zone and getting some traffic in front and taking Napier's eyes away. Because if you're a guy who's played at the level he has, if you see a puck, like, if you just see a shot, you're going to save it at this level.
Yeah, exactly. That's, I think, the problem. Apart from the one-wheel Stead goal, the Bees haven't really got much in the way of high-quality chances, not 5-on-5. Harvey Stead, long stretch past to Rose. Icing called, waved off by the official.
That was a tip.
Back to Wilstead. He blows a tyre. Nasty looking fall there between Wilstead and the Pitbulls D-man, Sam Smith. Both up and okay. Morris away from Hamill. Fired up by Antonov. Another good block by Justin Lalonde. The Pitbulls the other way. Chance in front. That would have been lovely there as Elliot Lewis tried to find Sean Morris. Blocked by Liam Morris this time. Too many Morrises. Goodbye over the blue line. Shot, that's off the stick of Napier and behind. Kept in the blue line by Mob. Flips it high up into the netting. Not entirely sure that's what the skipper wanted to do there.
No, I think he's tried to put that in the corner and overcooked it somewhat.
Too much sauce.
Yeah, too much sauce. Face-off will be in the zone though, so...
Here's the slide tackle from Wilstead. That could have been nasty. Thankfully, both
everyone's
players
all right.
up. Pitbulls come away with the puck. Push into the corner. Ball back, brought away by Antonov. Tries to go back to Goodbye. Probably the wrong pass there, and the Pitbulls able to clear. Harewood chips it in at the Bees blue line. Foot race to it. Smetham gets there ahead of Nags. Tries to find Harewood. Bats it out of the air, almost on goal. Paul able to clear. Butler, sorry, Whitesay on that one, fans on that one. Goes back to Cochrane. Cleared up ice. Nags is there. Paul off the lovely feed from Goodbye into the zone. Josh Paul's shot, that goes wide of the goal. I believe blocked away by Napier. Bouncing puck, Pitbulls get it under control. Chipped round Nags. Hill will give chase. On his own, training players coming off the bench. Feed in front, lovely feed in front to Sean Morris. Big save from Max Wright. Nags goes the other way as the Bees look for a change of their own. He'll just get to the blue line and chip it on ahead.
Yeah, into the last 5 minutes here, and the Bees, they've got to start, I think, creating more time in the zone as the Pitbulls come the other way.
Hill avoids the big hit from Harvey Stead, and Barry McKenzie off the trail nearly gets it past right. That will go the length of the ice and out the other way. Josh Kelly can pick up his stick. It's not broken, it's fine. Pitbulls again not sitting back and defending the 1-goal lead. Kelly will push out to the corner, right out to player. Backhands it away. Kelly will bring it up ice. Flips it high off the plexi. Cochran beats Will Stead to it and out the zone. And it's too many men. Yep, there is. Doesn't matter how late you jump off the bench, the Pitbulls take a too many men penalty at 55-46.
Yeah, that's a bad penalty to take in that situation.
You get a feeling Barry McKenzie's not going to be best pleased with that one.
No, Barry McKenzie and Tony Redmond will not be happy. You can't be taking risks on those line changes when you're, it got the lead with 4 minutes to go in the game. So this is a huge opportunity now for the Bees. If they are going to get something out of this game, you kind of feel might have to come here.
So 2 minutes or less. Can the Bees do anything with the man advantage this time? They've got 1 goal. They've been very misfiring tonight off a very good Pitbulls penalty kill. That shot goes through Napier again. Antonov. Back to Mog. Goodbye winding up and fires. Dom Goodbye very much setting up in the Ovechkin spot.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the outlook on this power play in terms of the pass to get that quick shot from the top of the circle.
The game plan very much appears to be fire across. Goodbye has the shot. I'm hoping Wilstead can get a tip in front.
Yeah, I think, like I say, if you're going to play this, you've got to get someone in front of the net.
Morris. As I say that, Stead goes into the corner. He's able to turn his man. Puck back round to Goodbye. Mog. Antonov back to Mog. Quick movement, bounces away from Antonov. Tries to go down low. Pitbulls try and hold it in the corner.
Running seconds off the power play and off this game.
Yeah, it's good defensive work from the Pitbulls. The Bees finally able to shovel it clear. Morris behind the goal. Off the boards to Goodbye. Mog will fire through traffic. Tip takes it up rather than down. Pitbulls try and clear. Can't the first time. Will at the second despite the despairing dive of Stuart Mog. Right to Mog. Almost another disaster class. Paul carry it over the blue line. Met by McKenzie. Does a good job of holding off 2 Bees. His clearance kept in by Mog. Goodbye. Steps inside 1. Tries to find Antonov. Puck bouncing loose. Finally falls back to Antonov at the goal line. Back to Mog. .15 seconds left on a man advantage. The Bees haven't been able to really get a shot on net. Fantastic work again from the Pitbulls. Pull shot blocked by Harewood. And the Pitbulls will carry it away with a possible short-handed chance. Shot off the blocker of right by Harewood. Pitbulls return to full strength. Josh Poole collects a loose puck. Gets it away from Price. Fired up to Goodbye. Icing called and given. 2:03 remaining in the third.
Yeah, bit of another really good penalty kill for the Pitbulls. A bit frustrating for the Bees, you'd say at times. We said they were clearly looking for that outside shot to get a tip in front, but they just weren't getting the bodies in front of the net to do that. And if you're going to shoot from there with no screen, then Napier is going to just catch them.
They had 2 goes at it, and it was quickly taken away after that. Yeah. Bees win the draw. Harvey Stead takes it away from Price. So into the final 2 minutes of the third. Harvey Stead quickly shoved down by Nick Price. Down into the low slot. Chance wide of the net by Sean Morris. Shot from the blue line. Right with another save. Lipsy. Spins away from Nags. Pitbull still with it. Nice. Tries to bring it away, get it away from Price. Finds Paul. Lipsy takes it over the blue line. 80 seconds to go. Harvey Stead from behind the Bees net. 1:10 to go. All eyes on Max Wright, and how long before he goes to the bench? Pitbull's just sitting 5 in the low block. Over to Goodbye. Wright still in his crease at the moment. Goodbye takes a big hit off the boards. He's up and okay. Morris kicks it on ahead. Harvey Stead. Down low. Wright still looking to the bench. Ashley Tate very much holding on, waiting for the moment. I don't think that moment's going to come. There is, the moment is going to come. Penalty called on the Pitbulls. So, 59-20. Penalty on the Pitbulls. Max Wright just about made it to the bench. It's going to be 6-on-4 for 40 seconds.
You assume they'll take attention.
Oh no, Liam Morris has gone in the box as well.
Okay, so it's going to be 5-on-4.
I don't know if it is.
Well,
this is the thing.
5-on-5.
Wright is going back to the
6-on-5, I guess.
Wright's going back to the net.
I suppose it depends on where the
penalty was called on a hit
going.
from the Pitbulls, and then obviously something's happened afterwards. Here we go. Sam Smith and Liam Morris head to the box. 2 for roughing on both. And Bees will call a timeout. 40 seconds to go. You've got to think Max Wright is going to stay firmly planted on the bench.
Well, it depends on where they're going to put the face. Well, it looks like they're going. Yeah, it looks like they're going to put the face off in the neutral Bristol zone by where the puck has been placed. So you would assume Wright will just stay on the bench here. Yeah, obviously. So it's going to be 6-on-5. These are going to be coincidental.
Yep.
So that's nice and easy.
6-on-5, and you've got to think the Pitbulls. You've got to fancy the chances here. 40 seconds to go. That's all they've got to stick out for. They've been fantastic on the defensive end all night.
Yeah, they've been brilliant defensively. It's been a team effort as well from them all.
Wright stays on the bench. 6-on-5. 40.7 on the clock. Harvey Stead still chirping the Pitbulls bench. Some fun having been had there. The Sunday jinx might continue as the puck falls back to Stead. Down low. Bees' all movement's good, but they need to find a shooting lane. Harvey Stead throws it towards net. That's blocked in front. Shot fired on goal. Wide of the net, and that will be icing.
Yeah.
Killed 12 seconds. 28 seconds flat on the clock.
Yeah, again, it's not a bad play, not a bad idea for a play for the Bees, but one, you've got to get the shot through, and 2, you've got to get your bodies in front of the net. At the end of the day, the Pitbulls were able to block that with ease.
28 seconds to go. Bees need to win the face-off. And they do. Back to Harvey Stead, across to Mogg. No shooting lane, shot blocked in front. Pitbulls will flip it high over the scoreboard. That is probably going to do it, as Harvey Stead has to beat the icing call. 16.9. Puck just getting ahead of him. Favourable bounce for the Bees. It looked for a second like it was just going to stick.
Yeah, it was a good idea to just chip that from Mackenzie, I think, just to chip that one out over the clock and out of the zone. The air on it just kills a few more seconds.
The Bees, as the Pitbulls win the draw, I think that's going to be game over. Reece Cochran gets there ahead of Rossbottom, takes a hit from Antonov. Harvey Stead keeps it against the boards. Stead still with it. It's held up down low and it's under a sea of bodies. Nothing's going to happen. And the Bristol Pitbulls, we said Road Warriors at the start of the night, they are going to finish their 3-game weekend with a big win in the hangar. It's Berkshire Bees 2, Bristol Pitbulls 3.
Yeah, and a fully deserved win for the Bristol Pitbulls, it has to be said. I thought they played, pretty superbly all night, really. They were solid in their own end, and they took their chance when it came on the power play and the delayed penalty, with 2 really nice goals, one from Smetam and one from Mackenzie, and yeah, they fully deserve the points.
by far, apart from maybe 1 5-minute spell in that second period,
they just got
by
into a bit of
far
penalty trouble.
the best team on the ice.
Yeah, definitely. They were the better team for, as you say, 55 out of 60 minutes. They had a 5-minute spell where maybe they got themselves into a bit of penalty trouble. Maybe there was the one time they maybe panicked slightly and took a couple of soft penalties, but yeah, they fully, absolutely deserved to win that game. And yeah, huge credit to them, because again, you're in the third game of a 3-game weekend. You've not got anything out of those first two, and it would be very easy for kind of heads to drop and panic to set in, but they didn't allow that to happen, and they played just a really solid road game.
And again, brilliant in all 3 areas of the ice tonight, especially on the penalty kill. They took a lot of penalty kills. They did a lot of good defensive work, as Tom says. Some very nice goals from Reece Smith and Barry McKenzie in the third period, along with the Cam Hamill tip in front to get the ball rolling tonight. The Bees, the Sunday jinx continues.
Yes.
Not 7-2 this week, which is always a good start.
More competitive. A more competitive game. Yeah, I mean, again, for the Bees, it's a good position to be in, obviously, to get, if you get picking up the consistent wins, but at some point, I think they'd want to be converting some of those, into getting a little run of wins, the win one, lose one.
Yeah, measles
record.
form.
Yeah, 500.
One green dot, one red dot. One green dot, one red dot. The Pitbulls deserve to take the 2 points. We'll just wait for the handshake lines to finish up. Then we'll have man of the matches for you. Which will be with us shortly. Man of the match for the Bristol Pitbulls this evening. Obviously, we'll have to drag it out. It goes to Barry McKenzie. We'll say it before he presents it, gets forward for it. Gets the goal in second. Very good offensive zone work, and again on the penalty kill was playing D for most of it, and again brilliant job there as well.
Brilliant two-way game from the Pitbulls coach, and obviously he's
led by example.
Led by example, exactly, in a really good performance. Yeah, he's led from the front. He's got the critical game-tying goal, and yeah, just played. There was a few candidates there for Bristol, but yeah, I feel like McKenzie just, led from the front and gets the 2 points, or helps his team get the 2 points.
Well, Pitbulls fans, we hope you've enjoyed being with us here on the stream tonight or in the rink. Thank you as always. The next time you're here is a Friday night. Friday the 24th of January, to be precise. There'll be a 7:30 face-off here in the hangar if you can make it. If not, we will be live on stream, pending whether or not Nick can get here from work on time. 6:45, hopefully, for that one. As we just wait for...
Worth noting, I believe that is also Tommy Napier's first win as a Bristol Pitbull.
It is Tommy Napier's first win as a Bristol
Tyler
Pitbull.
Tyler started that game in Sheffield with Napier out injured, so I imagine that will be a bit of a weight off his back, it has to be said.
Exactly, monkey officially thrown off.
Do we want some scores from elsewhere while we do various presentations? Obviously, we knew that the Lightning beat the Leeds Knights in a shootout in Leeds. Big result for MK. Sheffield Steel Dogs 5, Solway Sharks 2. Peterborough Phantoms 7, the Romford Raiders 4 in Peterborough. And then the big shock of the night, the Telford Tigers winning 7-5 against the Hull Seahawks. I
think you might have woken them up a little bit.
Yeah. It's a big. That's a big shock result against for Telford against the Seahawks team who've been flying this year. So yeah, man of the match of the Bees.
Man of the match of the Bees. Again, a fair few contenders. We've given it to Stuart Mogg tonight, not only for the performance tonight, but if you give it as like a legacy man of the match. I was looking at the numbers before the game. He's averaging 32 minutes a night at the moment. He has been an absolute Iron Man for the Bees.
Yeah, he's been an absolute warrior.
And doesn't have a night off.
No, he never. He's so consistent. every time I come here, you know what you're going to get from him. He's turned into one of the kind of more solid, I guess, defensemen in the league, and he eats just so many minutes for this team that, yeah, I was going to say...
He has to at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, injuries don't help, but yeah, now he's going to have to throw a hat, and not the first time he's done this.
No, he's an experienced hand at this now.
Yeah, clears a glass of ease.
Easy. Well, Tom, thank you for joining me as your one-a-month visits at the moment, thanks to the schedule.
Occasional visit.
Yep, you're back next month, of course, because who else to Swindon Wildcats are in town in November.
Hey.
We got 2 in 2 weeks for that.
Hey.
So thank you for joining me. Now you can go home and recover from your fun in Germany for the week. Hope you've had fun as always.
I have.
Free hockey, what's not to like?
Yeah, no.
And the Bees, if you've enjoyed us from home, are back here on Saturday, where we welcome what is likely to be a very angry Hull Seahawks team. Thanks, Telford. We love you. We'll be live here from 5:45. Face-off is at 6:30. I've got Chris with me next week. From me, Tom, and producer Nick up here in the balcony. Thank you, and good night, and enjoy your week.